What's up, manga fans, and welcome back to another review of Bleach. This week's chapter 642, Baby Hold Your Hand. 5 eyes are open. Now, the prediction I made last time came true, and the end of last chapter was indeed leading into a flashback which started at the beginning of this chapter and kind of did a back and forth between the present and the past this chapter, and that's not a good thing. I mean, it was good storytelling and everything, but if you're a Nemu fan or you just like Nemu as a character regardless, or you don't want her to die, this chapter is pretty much signifying her death flags. We've had her flashback and shown her past, revealed her origin and everything, and we even get an awesome power-up reveal. And we know in Bleach that is a very common factor or rule set that signifies a character's death, especially for the Shinigami. Show their flashback, show their Bankai or whatever, and they're pretty much guaranteed to die. And considering the technique that Nemu used, that is literally using pieces of her soul, I'm pretty sure she is going to eventually, unfortunately, sacrifice herself to save Mayuri, like I already said. But this chapter was enjoyable. It was cute. We had the Sundara moments from Mayuri, not only in the past for the flash, but in the present. Also, we see that Akon was very close to, and pretty much the majority of the 12th division were close to Nemu in her past, and there was a kind of uncle kind of relationship, in my opinion, going on between Akon and Nemu, and it was enjoyable when we see her always kind of go to him, asking him stuff because she felt comfortable talking to him rather than Mayuri himself. And one of the questions was obviously her asking about her name. She's no longer being called Nemori, she's being called Nemu, and Akon was shocked by this, but he believes that if Mayuri is calling her Nemu, that must be her name. But he's like, she said, no, my real name was Nemuri Nanago. So this is what was interesting, how it jumped back and forth. It goes into the present now, where Akon is in the lab with Kuna and several other of the 12th division staff, and Kuna actually accidentally, I think, knocked over 3 canisters, and he automatically noticed that this is 3 of the remaining basically remnants of the Mayuri, the Nemuri project, and he explains how they are literally the corpses of the first 3 failed Nemori. So what I said was true before. There was 6 other Nemus before that basically failed or died before they had a chance to fully grow. And he basically says until the 4th one, they were actually like just dying straight away. The 4th one had a brain, but it didn't really go much further. It was, if anything, it was used as a way to fix one of the 12th division's assistant's head. As he mentioned, he's like, that's what helped me fix my head. And the 5th one apparently reached embryo stage, which actually reveals how Mayuri became a captain and got his Bankai. From what I'm guessing from this chapter, Mayuri didn't gain his Bankai, the normal conventional way, like any other Shinigami training for it, speaking to your Zanpakuto and then submission it into, subduing to you so you get the Bankai. He apparently was allowed to get his captaincy, most likely because of the success of making one of the first Nemuris to actually, reach embryo stage. So he was allowed to modify his Zanpakuto and achieve Bankai. So in a way, he kind of took a shortcut, similar to, in a way how Urahara helped Ichigo increase the time, that he could achieve Bankai. So we found out that there was a 6th one who actually did go past the embryo stage, but only lived to 2 because that was apparently the life expectancy of a godly soul cell. And it wasn't until the current Nemu we have now, the 7th one, was when Mayuri actually becomes very ecstatic, and he was happy about it because it lived past, the expectancy of a godly soul. So yeah, it's very interesting to see this, because we find out obviously not only Nemu's backstory, but we find out about how Mayuri was, able to become a captain, along with how he achieved his Bankai. So in the present now, we see Nemu is in a rage. She leaps off the ground with some massive force, and while she's charging towards Peninda and Mayuri, she thinks back to obviously the past again, where Akon was asking why Mayuri doesn't call her by her first name, and Akon claims that maybe Mayuri was embarrassed by by calling Nemu the Nomori, because the Nomori project was I think it was called the Sleep Project, and he said it's stupid for a Shinigami to have dreams while you're awake, so he's called it the Nomori Project because this is a dream come true in a weird way. So for Nemu, she is literally like Mayuri's prized possession or success. The only way we see her as his perfect daughter that he's created, and every day she's learning, growing, she's becoming intelligent. So one day she's eventually gonna learn that Mayuri called her Nemori after the project, because she is literally a dream come true, literally the waking dream. So it's cute because she innocently says, "Would Mayuri be happy? Mayuri-sama be happy if I remain ignorant?" And Akon says, "No, there's no need for that because you're Mayuri's masterpiece." So he's proud of her, and in a way, he loves Nemuri and loves Nemu. So that was really interesting to see. And as I said, that is the kind of Cinderella we see from Mayuri. And in the present, we see more of this when Nemu reaches Peninda and literally tears him to shreds. She's like literally just blasts through him and the hand disappear. And Mayuri's like, "What are you doing? What's going on? Where did you get this power from?" And she says, "This is the power you've given me, and I've just manually increased it by exchanging, I think it was part of her soul." So she increased the power of her body, but it speeds up the decomposition of her cells. So she's going to break down. And we have Mayuri saying, "What are you doing?" She said, "Don't worry, I can use this for 400 seconds before I give up." And he was like, "No, I never gave you an order to do this." And then we said, "It's not my order. It's not an order. It's basically my mission to protect Mayuri-sama." And you could see it's like she's just so devoted to him as a daughter, and Mayuri is being so cinder about. It's like, "What you doing? You're gonna hurt yourself." When really, he's like, "I didn't tell you to do this. Listen to my command." It's like we could see straight through you, Mayuri. You're so transparent now. You can't help hiding your feelings. So he's put safely away, and she goes off to charge. And Mayuri admits that he never believed Nemu would be fighting for him. It's embarrassing. So you can tell he's really embarrassed about all this, but it's cute in a way, the whole, as I said, father-daughter relationship. So she literally goes on her way to Peninda, and she says she's going to use 6% of her soul to completely destroy Peninda, and she uses a new technique that's revealed called Gikon Jurinju, which sends a massive kind of blast of energy into Peninda, and it's like it just pushes right into the eye, and it's like it caves it in. And I just thought that looks completely badass. It's saddening to hear how it's being used, because it's literally using her actual soul. So that's gonna most likely weaken her during this fight. And this is why I said I feel like this is a death flag, because as I said, we've got the backstory, we've got the new power reveal, and the new power reveal, it has adverse effects where it would as I said, increase the decomposition of her body, and it's using pieces of her soul. So in a way, that's gonna break her down and most likely shorten her lifespan and kill her. So the only thing I can think is next chapter is either she destroys him and then she just dies, or Peninda somehow adapts to it like he's adapted to everything else by touching it, touching someone. Because remember, she's charged him and she's used her power, so maybe he will absorb some of that and adapt to it. And then this was when things might go wrong for Nemu, and then I don't know, she might do a final kind of sacrificial blast and kill him. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, as I said, that's the only thing I can expect. I really can't see this going positively for Nemu, and I feel like she's going to die. I don't want her to, but that's the way it seems like Kubo's going with this. So as I said, this chapter was enjoyable. It revealed a lot. It was cute, and I found it very, very entertaining, but sad at the same time, because we see Nemu's flashback. It's very solemn and bittersweet, but it's good at the same time. So you guys know the usual. If you got any predictions, leave me a comment in the box below, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Take care.